Well, let's finish this exercise. I am going to repeat factoring by grouping. The exercise we didn't finish before was this one. 3x squared plus 4xy minus 3x minus 4y. If you are factoring by grouping, you have to cut in the middle, factorize the two first terms. Which is the common factor? X, because you have x everywhere. When you divide the first term by x, you get 3x, and when you divide 4xy by x, you get 4y. Now, negative sign, open a parenthesis. Remember, I told you have to check you don't have any common factor here, you have to copy the expression, but you have to change the sign, because negative times positive is negative, negative times positive is negative. Now, you have two binomials in both terms. You can factorize again, applying the greatest common factor. 3x plus 4y is the greatest common factor because you have the expression in both terms. Now, what is left? X over here and 1 over here. And this is the solution. You factorize the expression in two factors, applying the greatest common factor. Let's do another one, a little bit difficult. Factorize by grouping 40 x to the third power minus 24 x to the second plus 15x minus 9. Okay, you have to factorize by grouping. Remember, color in the middle. Now you have to find the common factor between 40 and 24. Okay, 40 divided by 2 is 20, divided by 2 is 10, divided by 2 is 5, 5, 1. So 40 is 2 to the third times 5. And 24. 24 divided by 2 is 12, divided by 2 is 6, divided by 2 is 3, 3, 1. Is 24 is 2 to the third times 3. Okay? So you have the factors. What is the greatest common factor? You don't have 5 everywhere or 3. The common factor is 2 to the third power because it's common. And 2 to the third is 8. So 8 is a common factor here. And you have x to the second, x to the third. X to the second is a small exponent, then 8x squared is the greatest common factor. What is left? 5x minus 3. Check 8 times 5 is 40, x to the third power. 8 positive times negative is negative, 8 times 3 is 24, x to the second. Now, here 15 is 3 times 5 and 9 is 3 times 3, so 3 is a common factor. When you divide 15 by 3, you have 5x, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. Now, this is the first step, but you have to continue factorizing because you have 5x minus 3 in both terms. 5x minus 3 is a common factor. And what is left? 8 squared plus 3. And this is the answer. We are going to factorize another trinomial and another type. Factorizing trinomials. We are going to factorize trinomial of the type x squared plus bx plus c. Example. X squared plus 7x plus 6. Factorize. What to do? Two parentheses. The first term is x. You write here x and x. When you multiply them, you get x squared. All the terms are positive, no problem with the sign. Now you have to study this number. 6. What are the factors of 6? 3 times 2 is 6 and 6 times 1. This is try and error. We have to try until you get the answer. If you write, for example, 6 times 1, 6 times, you have to multiply 6 and 1 to get this term. 6 times 1 is 6. And you have to combine them to get the second one. 6 plus 1 is 7. This is the answer. But suppose you don't choose 6. Let me prove that 3 and 2 doesn't work. For example, if you write here x squared plus 7x plus 6, and you are going to factorize x and x, positive and positive. If you write here 3 and 2, when you multiply 3 times 2 is 6, that is true. But 3 plus 2 is 5, it's not 7, so this doesn't work. And the factorization of this trinomial is x plus y times x plus 1. Another example. Factorize x squared plus 6x plus 8. Remember, 2 parentheses. X here, x here. When you multiply x times x is x squared. No problem with the signs. All of them are. And two factors that when you multiply them is 8 and when you combine them is 6. That is 4 and 2 because 4 times 2 is 8 and 4 plus 2 is 6. So these are the factors. Well done. Another example. X squared minus x minus 30. X squared minus x minus 30. How to factorize this? Let me write the parentheses below here. Okay, x and x, because when you multiply them, you get x squared. Now the sign, pay attention. I used to copy this first, and if I have to change, I will do it, because this is try and error. Negative times positive is negative. What are the factors of 30? 30 times 1, and you can do this in this way too. 15 divided by 3 is 2. Divided by 3 is 5, and 5 is a prime number. 2 times 3 is 6 times 5 is 30. Okay, you have to choose two numbers. When you multiply them, 3 divided by 2 is 15, divided by 3, 5. Okay, two numbers. When you multiply them is 30, and when you combine them is, let me try with 6 and 5. When you multiply negative times positive is negative. 6 times 5 is 30. And negative 6 plus 5 is negative 1, which is the coefficient of this x. So these are the factors. Remember, you have to factorize this one and then open the parentheses. You have to copy x and x, because when you multiply it's x squared. And I copy this sign here, and negative times positive to get negative. The factor 6 times 5 is 30. Negative times positive is negative 30. And minus 6 plus 5 is negative 1, which is the coefficient of x here. Remember, the coefficient of 1 is understood. So those are the factors. What about this trinomial? Can you factorize this? Let's try. If you write here x and positive. The factor of 2 is a prime number. It's 2 and 1. But if you write here 2 and 1, and when you multiply 2 times 1 is 2. But if you add 2 plus 1 is 3, it's not 5. So what does it mean? This trinomial is prime, cannot be factorized. Sometimes you have to apply first greatest common factor and then the other kind of factorization. Factorize. Okay, look, 48, you have 4 here, but 48 is 4 times 12. 4 is the greatest common factor. And what is left? X minus 12. 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 1 is 4, and 4 times 12 is 48. Now you can factorize this one. Let's try. X and x, because you have x squared. I am going to copy first this sign, and then negative times positive is negative. Could be positive times negative. It's try and error. You have to try until you get the answer. Okay, 4 times 3 is 4 times 3 is 12, and minus 4, yes, it's 4 and 3. When you multiply negative 4 times positive 3 is negative 12, and negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. So this is the answer. And you factorize applying first the greatest common factor, and then how to factorize this kind of trinomial. Factoring the perfect square trinomial. Perfect square trinomial. Do you remember a plus b to the second power is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared? This is the perfect square trinomial. You will be given with an example like that, and you have to factorize in this way. And remember that if you have a negative sign here, the sign here will be negative. If you have positive, the second term will be positive. If you have a negative, the second term will be negative. Okay, let's factorize perfect square trinomial. Example, x squared minus 10x plus 25. You have to try in this way. The square of x squared is x, because x times x is x squared. And the root of 25 is 5. I mean, the root of x squared is x, because x times x is x squared. The root of 25 is 5, because 5 times 5 is 25. Now you have to try. If you multiply them times 2 and you get 10x, is a perfect square trinomial. 5 times 2, because you have to find the terms multiplied times 2. 5 times 2 is 10 times x is 10x. Yes. So what to do? Write the roots. What are the roots? X and 5. If this is negative, you have to write this negative sign, and you went from here to here. You factorize the perfect square trinomial.